attended Duke University, and I played D1 lacrosse there, so I was the only black girl on the team out of 40 women for 3 years. And at Duke University, most elite universities here are not diverse in terms of African Americans, and just coming onto campus, the black staff, outside of professors and academic staff, the staff who kind of kept the whole campus going, were just some of the most kind and friendly people, and it really felt like a family away from a family. I'm from Philly, and I have an enormous family in Philly, and so I've just been used to that kind of culture, and at Duke, the people that provided that for me were honestly the black staff there, and most of my photography centers around black culture. Growing up, my grandfather took me to art museums 24/7. That's all we did. He was a photographer. We went to the Philadelphia Art Museum, and I just remember not seeing black people in there. Like I just didn't see a lot of black artists. I didn't see a lot of black people represented, male or female or anything really. And so my artwork was just focused on kind of fulfilling the needs of the little girl who used to go to the art museum with my grandfather.
I'm a doctoral candidate right now, and was living in Chicago back in 2020. And in Chicago, just watching what was happening in June, participating in protests, etc. And then at the same time conducting research about how universities were talking about their past. And I was fairly disturbed by the way that we just see re-articulations of the same themes over and over from the 60s to today. And so what I decided I wanted to do was sort of engage in these topics that I was writing about, researching about, thinking about in a way that was a little bit more tactile, using material, visual, and sort of, I hope gets at this sort of these more affective. And so this image is actually taken from my research. It's an image I came upon from SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and I think just by re-articulating it and sort of like reimagining it now, I also wanted to remind folks that this has been going on for decades upon decades upon decades, whereas many folks are just realizing what's happening in like June 2020 to today. And I thought that it would be a really nice way to allow individuals into this conversation through an image, through something that perhaps people are drawn to because it's aesthetically pleasing, but then when they really get into it, think a little bit more about the way that these themes of, let's say, even rhetoric of diversity and inclusion is at one time a quick fix and at the same time not a fix at all.
I was in the city with my son, who was very young at the time, and we were walking down Chestnut, and we walked by a man standing on the corner asking for money, a black man. I didn't even notice him. And my son tugged at me and he said, "Mom, I need money, I need some money, I need some money, please." And I didn't know what he was talking about, but I gave him a few dollars, and he ran back and he gave it to the man on the corner. And I was ashamed because I hadn't even seen that man. So William, I met outside of the Wawa, right by City Hall. Alexis and Jason, I met at the Salvation Army Shelter on Broad Street. And part of what I do as an artist is not just create portraits, but I like to tell the stories of the people that I create portraits of. I think that's really important. Also, as I've been working, my work has gotten bigger and bigger, and my goal is really to create portraits that you cannot look away from. So you see, I want to call attention to people who we usually don't look at, don't see, and don't want to see.